All right, so we are getting into orthographic drawings with AutoCAD, the web version. So the object that we have is 6.5 bearing box, looks like this. That's the one I'm referencing on my other screen. And I see it doesn't have an M, so it's imperial. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with a front view because that's the one clearly shown in the picture that I'm given, which is an oblique view. Let's pause here because it's left. Okay, so now that we're in, I'm going to start with that front view. And here it's showing me a total width of 2. So I'm going to start on that bottom with my line tool, 0, 0. Make sure my angle is 0 degrees, so it's flat along. And now that I've made my first line, I'm going to zoom extents. Very good. Now I can see my line. And here it's all about just following those edges. Here we got 1. Oh, it doesn't tell me that angle, so I'm going to go to the other side. Here we have, let's see, a total height of 2. Goes to the right 1. And then these lines are connected. And you'll see it matches the profile of the front view. At this point, we can identify our circles in that front view. So I'm going to get my circle command, and here it says the coordinate is 0.5, comma 0.5, with a radius of 0.25. Okay, same deal. Except now, my x-coordinate is 0.5, and my height is 1.5. My radius is once again 0.25, and I've finished the front view. Great. Now we are going to use a trick. Okay, so instead of recreating all of our dimensions, we can use a new layer. I'm going to call this construction. And all I'm going to do with my construction layer is change it to gray. Now, with this new layer, I can draw lines to guide me. So I drew one line here. I'm going to use the copy command because I'm going to extend lines throughout all the different widths. So I have this first line that I'm going to copy. So I selected it, press enter. My base point will be the point that I snap to. I'm going to snap here. Let's see, let's do one here. Let's do one here. And hey, let's do one in the middle of our circle. I just realized I didn't put these on the correct layer, so I'm going to change that. To do that, I select the line, go to properties, and I'm going to change the layer to construction. It should be a grayed out line. All right. This is going to help tremendously when I get to my top view. I want to just take this and copy it to the sides as well. We're going to need that for hidden lines. In fact, it wouldn't hurt to make all the layers you're going to need. Let's go hidden. Make our hidden lines red. We're going to make another layer called center. Okay, center lines. Wait a minute, I like my center lines to be red. So I'm going to make my hidden lines dark blue and my center lines red, just so I can differentiate. Okay. And for this drawing, we will not be doing dimensions because we're just getting used to these new tips. Okay, so with the object line layer selected, I'm going to use my line tool and just choose a location to start. So here I'm using my construction lines to guide my process in making my lines. Now it tells me in the drawing that I have a depth of 1 inch. I could measure out 1 inch and then draw an inch, or measure out an inch, draw 2 inches, or I could, let's see, get a rectangle tool here, drag it out. It's 2 inches by 1 inch. Great. Now we need to identify the center point. Now, I'm not sure if this is the correct way, but I'm going to use a rectangle so I can input that center point for that circle and fix it up. So it says it's got a depth of 0.5, so my height's going to be 0.5, and the center of this is also 0.5. Using this point, I can draw my circle, which has a radius of 0.25. It's got a diameter of 0.25, so it's going to be half of that. Good. Now, moving along, I'm going to clean up the top view from any object lines that I had using the trim command. Boom, boom, click, click, click. Great. But I want to leave some of these hidden lines, or these construction lines. You'll see why in a moment. For this video, I'm just going to do the top view so that so it doesn't take too long. Now, I notice that this object line is going to be seen in the top view. It's not going to be a construction line like that. So I'm going to draw over it with my object line. Great. Now these two lines, I can just select, boom and boom, and I can turn them into hidden lines. They're hidden lines because, wait a minute, properties, hidden lines. These two are going to be hidden lines because they're the sides of the holes from the front view. So if I were looking through the top of this object, I would see the edges of these circles. Now, I should change this to a hidden line, and I should have checked first. So, yeah, we'll do that now. Hidden line's way too small. Let's increase that to 4 and see what it looks like. That may be too big. Actually, that's pretty good. Maybe a little bit more. By layer. Line type by layer. Play with your line types till you get it. All right, so after playing around a bit, this is what I ended up with, which is a 0.25 line type scale. I'm going to delete all my junk lines. And let's not do that. Instead, I'm going to, let's see, let me mark the points off the back. Because once I delete those, I won't have something to snap to. So I delete these now that I've got my guiders. And here I can, 1. The top view now has my hidden lines and my object lines. I now need a center line. So center line, go to my layer, center, and here I'm going to do a center line type. I'm going to change the line type scale to 0.25. Make sure that that's selected. Good news is it's centered on this. Let's just see if I can take this and I can change the layer. So here I put it to center and it doesn't look great. All right, let's redraw it. And here we've got a center line that's aligning with the centers of these points. Now what I'm going to do is change my centerline radius or centerline scale to match the radius of the circle. And I can just put it on like that. And you'll see it matches up with this circle. Now I left it like this. I think it's fine, but let's just see what it looks like if I change this to 0.5. No better. You could leave it. Once you've finished your top view, you can do the same technique with your side view. For this activity, you want to end with a top, front, and side view with your center lines and your hidden lines. You do not need to dimension this drawing.